What do you get when you give Troublemaker Studios, Robert Rodriguez, and Frank Miller a lot more money to make a sequel? One hell of a sequel. This is Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. So let me just start this off by saying that I'm a huge Frank Miller fan. I'm a huge Sin City fan, and I loved the movie that was originally out a few years ago. I think it was 9 years ago now. But the fact is that we've all been waiting for a sequel, and we've all been waiting for a lot of other things from Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez to be done. This one took a little bit of time, and I'm not hating on it, but I'm definitely saying that you guys missed the mark on this. Um, where you guys could have done a lot more, a lot sooner. This movie is kind of, at this point, an afterthought. It's kind of like a gift for people like me who've been waiting in the wings for this long. Um, Now, this movie is not exactly a sequel. See, you got to read the comic books to actually know the timelines that are being introduced with this movie. Mainly Dwight's. I mean, that's just it. Frank Miller doesn't write in congruent or A to B to C storylines. This guy jumps all over the place, and it's nothing more evident than this movie because it's a shot for shot, and I do mean that it's shot for shot. Make the comic books. It's fucking gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. Um, all the effects are back. The black and the white, and this time around, it's a lot more. It's a lot better framed. It's a lot better animated. Everything about it seems just slightly less comic book and a little bit more real life. Not that that's a bad thing, but there are some scenes where you're just kind of like, it's missing that flair. It's missing that little bit of touch. Namely because they didn't take as many liberties with this movie like they did the first one. They really did stick to the comic books, and I mean almost. I think a good 99.9% of all of these movies are in the comic books. And again, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. However, and here's where it gets hard for me because I read the comic books. I love the comic books, like I said earlier. So I know the comic books. I'm able to sit down and go, okay, I know that scene, I know that scene, I know that dialogue, so on and so on and so on and so on. Somebody who's never read the comic books or somebody who's really just a light fan of the first movie will be lost during this movie. It's not going to make a lot of sense. It's not going to be a fun time for anybody who doesn't understand the way that the movies were shot or the way that Frank Miller tells a story. For the rest of us, it's pretty fucking awesome. Yeah. For those trying to keep up, it's a little bit of a slap in the face, because it's like you should be a fan before you watch these movies, and I don't like that. I don't like when producers or movie writers or anybody does that. It's like you need to be a fan. You must be a fan before you see these movies, or you won't get jack shit. I don't like that because honestly, when you try to target a new audience, or you're trying to target a newer audience, should I say, kind of gets lost in translation. And in that, this is where the movie fails. This movie is very much to the comic books, and if you don't know the series, you don't know the comic books, you don't know the lingo, the dialogue, or the characters, you're going to be really lost, and you're going to find it really boring and grating. Now, for those of us faithful, you're going to love every second of it, every single fucking second of it. I guarantee it. Anyways, let's get down to rating this bad boy, shall we? First of all, acting. Gorgeous. Honestly, perfect acting across the board. I can't think of a single person in that whole movie that either underacted or overacted or played the background or, was a hole in the wall or was just scenery dressing. Not a single person in that whole movie. I mean, you have the typical goons and thugs and stuff like that, but that's just it. They're meant to be typical goons and thugs, So it's not exactly oh my god, henchman number four could have done a better part because he kind of overacted. No, no. Henchman number four played henchman number four. Okay. Um, some of the recasts, however, are decent. I understand them. Again, I'm not going to give any spoilers away in this review. Spoiler free. Some of the recasts that happen, I get it. I really do. Specifically, Michael Clark Duncan as Michael Clark Duncan. Sorry, rest in peace. As Minute. Of course, he's not around anymore, so we really can't do that. So directing, top-notch directing. Honestly, really, really good directing. I would love to say that it's flawless, but it's not, because the pacing of this movie really is exactly what I said it was earlier, and it's a little slow. It's a little bit not as actiony as the first movie, so you're gonna lose a little bit of that interest. And honestly, it's not a fault of directing or anything like that. It is actually just the fact that this is the way the movie was written. This is the way the movie is. This is the way the comic book is. And in that, I think with just a few more liberties taken, like in the first movie, you could have sped the whole movie up just a little bit and kept a lot more people interested. Story. Which one? Story is incredible. I mean, really, fucking Frank Miller writes such involved shit, and it's all woven together so crazily that you can't help but love it. And honestly, if you watch the first movie before you watch this one, and I mean like immediately before you watch this one, like you're sitting in your car, or you're sitting in your living room, and you're like, let's watch Sin City before this happens, then yeah, you're gonna have a good time. If you know the comic books, you're gonna have a good time. If you're coming into this new, it's gonna be a little bit difficult. So have somebody who knows the comic books go along with you, or have footnotes. Bust out the cell phone, turn the brightness down. You fucking people know who you are. God damn it. Anyways, yeah, story was beautiful. It really does capture a lot of things, and it really does explain a lot of things that you kind of didn't get in the first movie, like references to Dwight and his new face. This kind of explains it. What happened to Manute? What happened to Marv? Actually, for those of you Marv fans, you get a bit more of Marv's backstory. So, the final verdict of this movie is, if you're a fan of the films, if you're a fan of the comics, watch it in theaters. It is theater worthy. It really is, and especially if you can get into one of those like 4K digital theaters, worth every penny. For those of you that aren't fans, or you are not, big on the story, this is worth a rent. This is a rent it, or a red box it. You know what I mean? But honestly, above all that, my final verdict would definitely be watch it in theaters. Even if you're new to the story or you're new to the franchise, you're gonna have a lot of fun. You're gonna have a lot of very explorative visuals and a lot of really good dialogue that you're gonna be able to feed off of. But anyways, that's my time, folks. Stay tuned. And once again, if you want the zombie survival tips back, leave a comment below. Let me know. I really gotta stop saying that. That's like patented somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, leave a comment. Let me know. You guys got a movie you want me to review? You guys want me to take a look at something? Either, any requests or anything like that? Let me know as well. All right, folks. Deadman out.